honestly speaking, like, we thought we were crazy. I remember me and Allie like looking at her, and she's like, "Don't you think we need to scale it back? Like maybe shoot for 3 or 4?" Like neither one of us had ever owned a camper, never stayed in a camper, I'd never even pulled on with a vehicle, and we were heading to California. So, I mean, the whole thing just seemed insane. Everybody was questioning our sanity. And, they were like, either y'all are going to, come back from this trip halfway through and never talk to each other again, or you're getting married to be together for life. And so we made it through that spring. And
land ownership, number one, is a blessing. It's an absolute underpinning for our whole country and our whole constitutional democratic republic. Is without private land ownership, you don't have freedom.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome into the Southeastern Land Show along with my friend Carrie Farrington. I'm Brian Watts, and we are glad you're here with us this morning. Carrie, it was a fun and eventful week this week, professionally and personally, with some properties under contract, and the kids were out for spring break this week too.
Are they already out for spring break?
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun. So it was kind of more of a low-key spring break for us this year.
Did y'all just stick around close?
We did. Sometimes the greatest vacations are the staycations, and so we just had a chance just to kind of just fish in the pond and just enjoy the property. My youngest, he turned 10 early this year, and we got him a 243.
Nice.
And he's been begging me to go out and do some more target practicing with that. So we set up a target and just let it fly. That's
fantastic. You get that practice in so that when you get out in the field, you have a good shot.
So you don't you don't freeze up when you see old granddaddy walk out there with a 10 point. So, but no, he enjoys that. And just being out, it was real relaxing for our family. And we had a great time, and it was enjoyable.
That's fantastic. Our spring break over in Georgia is not until April. So we're still thinking through what we want to do. We will likely do some sort of staycation or maybe go camping or something. But we haven't figured that out yet. Actually, in this week, had a really cool opportunity to go see a nice property over in Rockdale County, Georgia.
Yeah.
And so we're really hoping we can get that to market soon. Big track, great opportunity for a hunting opportunity for someone in that Atlanta area. This property, Brian, it had lake frontage. It had a swamp to it. So,
nice.
A nice duck hole, tons of draws and valleys to it. So, that deer and turkey population was just right there. And we actually went out on Tuesday when it was, I don't know if y'all got rain over here, but it was raining cats and dogs on Tuesday. And we were soaking wet when we got back in the truck. So, didn't have a chance to look at all of it, but hoping to get back out there and see what kind of activities going on from the deer and the turkey side, because the multiple ecosystems that this property had.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, in a couple of weeks, if we can get this to market in a couple of weeks, you guys are going to be excited to hear about this.
Man, that sounds like a great property. And it's really cool when you have a property that's got so many different types of habitats on it for different wildlife and species. And, one of our guests we have coming up today is going to talk a lot about turkey. So,
that's right.
And this is turkey season, and people are burning and doing the things that they need to do for habitat management. And just the spring, just with the spring flush and things blooming out and nature just coming alive, it's a great time to go look at property and go see properties.
Yeah. And what else happens in early March that me and my kids get excited about is the hummingbird migration starts coming up north. And so beginning of March to mid-March, we are right in that zone for you to start seeing hummingbirds. And so actually this week, my family and I were out, filling our hummingbird feeders. We have 3 in our backyard. We were filling those up this week. We typically do the store-bought jugs of hummingbird feeder, but you can make your own by just taking 1 part sugar to 4 parts water and boiling that and then filling it up. Now, don't put any red dye in it.
Yeah.
The birds don't care about the dye, and the red doesn't really attract them, but the red dye actually can hurt them, I read. And so you don't want to put dye in it, but we were filling our hummingbird feeders, and it's just a matter of time before those guys start showing up. And when they do, man, it is so cool to teach the kids about the first thing that we like to talk about is how fast a hummingbird can flap their wings.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing. I don't remember the number off the top of my head, but those little guys, their wings are flapping like crazy. And we got lucky last year because one of the hummingbirds set up their nest in the pecan tree in our backyard that is very visible to the kids, so that you can see them going back and forth between the feeder and the nest And that was just a really cool spring last year. So we're excited at our house to have our hummingbird feeders going. So if you haven't put those out yet and you're in our listening area, East Alabama, West Georgia, it's time to put them out.
That makes me want to go get a hummingbird feeder, because you're right. And there's so many life lessons, as we've talked before, on wildlife. And, and I never really paid much attention to birds, just being honest, until as I've gotten older and just started noticing the hummingbirds or, the blue jays and the cardinals and everything, and God's providence and just seeing them work and interact with each other. I never thought that birds would ever be top of mind for me. And being a landowner and just being out in nature, especially this time of year, you can't help but see them and notice them and just wander and just see how they do things.
Yeah. 1 minute you're young and cool, and then the next minute you're old and you're going, is that a yellow-breasted warbler in my backyard? I'm with you. Like, just in the past couple of years, we've started putting bird feeders out and filling those with seeds and the hummingbird stuff. And so it's from a perspective of treating your own backyard as its own little ecosystem and habitat, and doing things that invite, wildlife into your backyard. It's been really cool from our perspective, and my kids love it.
Yeah. And we're not far from gardening season.
Nope. Coming up.
Just seeing things come up from, the vegetables and just kind of getting that whole, the circle of life coming back, in the dark, and I say dark, I mean, just the dormant season. Mm-hmm. It's a new, springs are always new beginnings and allow the opportunity for fresh things and new things is coming on. So, whether it's animals or the land market that we're both in, so it's fun to see that happen.
Yeah. And, from a health perspective, getting out and getting in the dirt and working the dirt and getting out in your yard, take your shoes off and walk around your backyard and then just enjoy the grass and the fresh air. Man, I can't tell you how good that is for you. It is.
And being outside and getting that sunshine, that vitamin D and moving around and just get the blood flowing. And it's, sometimes so many people, I guess we all do, gym memberships and things like that just to stay healthy, when really there's a lot in nature that you could do for running and jogging and getting creative.
Well, and and the way that we in America have accustomed ourselves to what we do with our time in the fall and the spring, this week has been the best week for that, because now the sun sets an hour later. If you haven't sprung forward your clocks yet, you've probably been late to a lot of things this past week, but we did that this past Sunday.
Yeah.
I love springing forward. I think daylight savings time is the best thing that we can have. Just that hour later sunset, it's awesome. The first couple of days were difficult. It's hard to fall asleep, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that later 7:30, 8 o'clock sunset over in Georgia is incredible. We get to hang out, and we ate dinner on the back porch last night. It's one of my favorite. Elected officials, I'm going to put you on notice right now. I will change my voting habits if one of you will propose legislation that keeps daylight savings the standard for America and the place that I live in. I'm putting you on notice right now. If you will propose legislation, I will vote for you to keep daylight savings time.
And that's Carrie at selandgroup.com if you have any questions.
That's right. Send your checks to Carrie.
Well, I agree. Because, so many people, whether it's kids and sporting activities and whatever it is, we'd much rather have the more daylight on the end of the day instead of the beginning of the day. And, the other thing this time of year that's going on is we're in the middle of playoff season, basketball.
Oh, that's right.
March Madness.
That's right.
And really, we're based out of Auburn and where our show is, but as we're throughout the Southeast and have a lot of, Alabama friends and, both schools are doing tremendously well. And I know we're real early in saying this, and maybe I shouldn't, but there's a chance they may be able to see each other a couple times, maybe one more time in the tournament. So that's really exciting. And to say that we actually have two fantastic basketball schools in the state of Alabama, I mean, that's unheard of.
It's incredible. And the SEC tournament starts this week.
Yeah.
I don't remember when all the other teams will play, but the Alabamas, Tennessee, Florida, and Auburns are going to play on Friday. So you're going to want to tune in to watch some of those games and watch that play out through the rest of the weekend. And then there's talk that, if Auburn makes the Sweet 16 or the Elite Eight, that can be in Atlanta. So, local here for us. I don't know if you watched the game this past Saturday or last week, that Auburn and Alabama played, came down to the wire. Alabama.
Oh, that was tough.
Beater. That was tough.
Oh, man. That was tough. And especially when you have little ones. My oldest, he's 12. I explained to him what it's like to be a fan, an Auburn fan. And so You have to have thick skin and a lot of life lessons from that. And he doesn't understand in his lifetime, especially for football season. I've had to show him the Oregon game, the national championship game, and said, see, Auburn, they can do that, but sometimes it can be frustrating. But to have two world-class schools in the state and doing very well, that's been encouraging to see. We're excited about today's show and have a couple of great guests coming on. The value today, whether it's turkey season or some land lending, we've got a great show today.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of turkey season, we're going to have Dent Stallworth come on the show for the next couple segments and talk about some of the interesting things he's done with turkey hunting in his life. And for all you listeners out there, in Alabama, turkey season starts on March 25th for private lands, a week or so after for public. And then in Georgia, March 29th is the date you need to be putting on your calendar for turkey season. Excited to talk to Dent about some of the cool things he's done with turkey hunting. And so he's here in the studio with us now, actually.
Yeah. And not just a turkey hunter. He's done it in every state. So you got to tune in for that. So for his interview, we also have Taylor Hart, our friend, is a branch manager at First South Farm Credit. One of our fantastic sponsors. He's serving the East Central Alabama area, and we're looking forward to getting his insight on land financing, interest rates, products they offer, and so much more.
That's right. Yeah. So excited to hear from Taylor and what's new in the mortgage lending market right now for land. Excited to have him on the show too.
Well, after this quick commercial break, we'll have Dent Stallworth in studio with us. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Southeastern Land Show.
Hey, this is Kelso Hamilton with Alabama Ag Credit, and we're proud to be part of the Southeastern Land Show. If you're looking to buy land and hearing this radio station, I'm the guy you need to talk to. Buying land isn't the same as buying a home, and we understand the ins and outs of making your dream a reality. We specialize in financing recreational property, timberland, and farms. So when you hear about the perfect property on the Southeastern Land Show, give me a call at 334-301-8122 and get you on the land you've been dreaming about.
Welcome back, and you are listening to the Southeastern Land Show with your friends Kerry Farrington. I'm Brian Watts, and Kerry, I think I just heard a turkey gobble because Dent Stallworth just walked into the studio. Dent is a forester and land realtor with Southeastern Land Group, and does an amazing job for his clients, and has been known to kill a turkey or two in various states. Dent, how you doing, man?
Man, March is here. So if you know me, you know I'm doing good. Turkeys are gobbling, flowers are blooming. It's spring, birds are chirping. I'm happy as I can be.
Man, he's giddy. Kerry, he's giddy. Can you see the giddiness?
I'm kind of wondering, is this like Christmas time coming around for, the kids? Is this the feeling that I'm feeling?
That is the feeling I get every year.
Christmas
that opening
time.
morning. I mean, it is like Christmas morning, getting out in those woods and hearing the woods wake up and come to life, and hearing that first gobble of the season is something special. I'm actually doing my best to stay away from the woods right now. We still have a couple weeks to go here in Alabama, and it's one of those things. Once I get in it, I'm consumed with it. So I'm trying to hold tight, but it's, I just can't wait for it to be here. I am very excited.
Don't want to spook any birds or mess up any normal routines until you get all in, right?
That's right.
Well,
That's right.
I tell you, I don't know about you, Kerry. We were talking off air. I'll admit I've only been turkey hunting one time, and my one time probably did it for me for a while. And my father-in-law and brother-in-law, we went out, and I was like, man, I could really get into this. And I enjoyed it. It was fun. And then I sit down next to a tree. My brother-in-law was calling a bird. And I went down to tie my boot, and I saw a copperhead laying within a few feet of me, staring right at me. And I could not have moved fast enough. I unloaded my gun on it, and I said, I want a fishing pole. I'm good. So, but the people that are into turkey hunting, man, they love doing it, and the chase of the bird.
Sounds like that turkey hunt turned into a snake hunt.
It did. And I said, you know what? Y'all can have these turkeys. I'll go see if I can go catch a bass or something. But
yeah, that's just a mistake you made. You can't look down during turkey season.
I know.
Keep your eyes ahead, put on your snake chaps, snake boots, and just go after them. They're definitely out and about. That's part of the game. I know that's one aspect a lot of people don't like about it, but Relatively speaking, for me, I feel like I've been very fortunate in that aspect. I mean, generally speaking, I run into very few snakes every year, but those copperheads are the ones that scare me. They blend in so well. And I've heard stories of guys sitting up against a tree and reaching down beside them to scratching the leaves or something, getting pops. That's one thing. When I sit down around a tree, I make sure I am scoping it out good and there's nothing hiding waiting for me.
Glad to have you here today, Dent. I want to hear from you. You know, we're a couple weeks away from the start of turkey season. What kind of things are you doing right now to prepare yourself for that late March date?
Man, honestly, for me right now, I am just getting prepared mentally and physically. Honestly, since I had a little one back in July, I've struggled having the motivation and everything to get in the gym. But the last couple of weeks with turkey season coming up, really hitting the gym hard, getting back into it. This is kind of time of year I generally fall away from the gym and my health goes bad. You lose a lot of weight during turkey season typically. So I'm trying to get all that up. And like I said, just get prepared mentally, getting all my work done. And that's been my main focus this year, is trying to focus on real estate business. And so really prepping hard for that. You know, like I said, I'm not personally doing any preseason scouting right now. I'm still giving it a couple weeks, and I know it's coming quick, but trying not to get too antsy for that to actually get in the woods yet.
Well, I'm getting really excited this season too. This will be the first season that I actually do a turkey hunt, and I'm going to take my 11-year-old son with me. We talked last week a little bit with George about, taking him deer hunting in the fall, but we'll be doing some turkey hunting this spring. I've got a spot lined up in North Georgia and looking forward to that. But now did not realize that hitting the gym was going to need to be part of this preparation.
I know. I know. That's the first I've heard of that. It's like you're getting ready for a match or something.
It's working out in the gym to get ready for turkey season.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's all out battle during the springtime, especially when you're traveling, hunting places you've never been. You get outside. I mean, even Alabama offers some great public land opportunities, but you get outside and, in these western states, and you're literally looking at, click on your own next property you're hunting, it's a couple 100,000 acres. And so you got a lot of ground to cover. There's a lot of steps involved, especially, we're lucky around here in Auburn, relatively speaking, pretty flat land, but you get up in some mountains and everything, and it can be tricky. You got to be prepared for it for sure. It'll whoop you quick.
So we teased it in the beginning about hunting turkey in all the states. And tell our listeners about, when did that start? What started that? What was the cause agent to say, you know what, I'm going to do this in all the states? And I guess from a logistics standpoint, I know we had talked before how the further along you got into that, more people learned about your story and wanted to be a part of it to get something. So speak to that on how all that worked, how long it took you to do it, what your rationale, what you were wanting to do with that.
Yeah. So for me, obviously, it all started with just a love for the spring woods and turkey hunting. Grew up, started hunting around 5 years old. That was the first hunt I ever remember with my dad. I actually watched him kill 2 turkeys, and the pictures of me after the hunt, I'm crying in all of them because I was so upset he didn't let me bring a gun with me and get one for myself. So those are pretty funny to look back on. Killed my first turkey at 7 years old with my grandfather, just a special time. I actually traveled on my first out-of-state hunt when I was 9 years old. Went to Texas. It was my dad's first out-of-state hunt as well, but we went over and killed a Rio. Just an awesome experience. Kind of opened my eyes up to what all else is out there. In Alabama, we struggle to hear 1 or 2 turkeys gobble a season. Out there, you're hearing 10 or 12 in the roost in the morning. So that was crazy to me. Got into like junior high school, got super busy with sports and really wasn't able to hunt and everything like I wanted. I think the third out-of-state trip I ever did would have been in high school. I had a guy from Indiana who had been down deer hunting with me, had a farm up there, and he had talked me into coming up hunting. So me and a buddy hopped on a plane. We were 16 years old, flew up there, hunted his place, killed an Indiana turkey, then got into college, had a little more freedom, flexibility, was able to travel some more, hunted some states like Florida and Tennessee, kind of had some connections there. That kind of got the wheels going, but at that point, I still had never even heard of a U.S. Super Slam. Didn't know something like that existed. Had no clue there was states that had 49 states that had turkeys in it. And I was actually at the NWTF convention in Nashville back, I think it was my sophomore year of college. And like I said, at that point, I think I'd hunted in 7 states and had plans really to hunt in all 7 of those states again that year. That was the first time I'd ever heard of it. So that spring I traveled, went to all 7 states. I'd previously hunted, got a turkey in all of them, and it kind of opened my eyes. It's like when I first heard about it, it was like, this is kind of a lifelong dream, something, take me years and years and years to accomplish. But I was like, if I start putting this energy that I put into these 7 states and to go into new ground, at least I can get, 3 or 4 new ones a year, trying to go places you've never been. Around that time, wasn't long after, is when the world kind of shut down with COVID. I graduated college, didn't have much money to my name, but had a little bit. Really, that first spring, I kind of started pursuing the Super Slam. I actually hit the road by myself and sleeping in my truck, traveling different states I'd never been, pulling up on public ground. And that was huge learning experience to me, but that's kind of really where it all got going, was that spring, probably 2020.
Man.
So that Super Slam, tell our audience a little bit about it. We're talking about this idea of killing a turkey in all 49 states, and there's one state that's not included. So tell us a little bit about the Super Slam, who kind of sponsors or works that program, and what is it all about?
Yeah, so the U.S. Super Slam, most people are familiar when you talk about slams and turkey hunting, the Grand Slam, which is the 4 subspecies of turkeys. The Osceola is found in southern Florida. You have Easterns all along the eastern side of the U.S., and then you kind of transition into Rios around Texas, Oklahoma, and then Miriam's further west. But the U.S. Super Slam is getting a turkey in all 49 states. I think Rob Keck was the first one to officially do it and kind of coin the phrase. He's kind of a legend with the National Wild Turkey Federation. I want to say he completed it maybe in the early 2000s was the first one. Like I said, it had never been done, never really been talked about. I don't know if he personally gave it that name or how the name came about. I guess popularity kind of grew, and now I think NWTF is the one you can get your U.S. Slam registered with. I don't have it registered, but they have a list on their website of the guys who have completed it. I know there's some more out there who have not registered theirs as well, but the list of guys, I think it's in the 20s now, but it is steadily growing with the onset of the mapping systems and everything you have now, and being able to travel, being able to pull up your phone and see where the public ground is and stuff has really changed the game for traveling. So for me personally, I have so much respect for the guys who did it back in the early days, just using straight maps and figuring things out. I mean, I can't even imagine the difficulty and the challenge they faced. But nowadays, traveling turkey hunting, relatively speaking, compared to back then, I would say is a lot easier for the average person to do.
Yeah. Now, which state is, you mentioned 49, so which state is not there?
So Alaska currently is the only state without a huntable population or a turkey season. We did meet a couple in Minnesota a couple of years ago during our travels. They were from Alaska, and they told us that they have turkeys on their property back home. So I don't know. I think the NWTF is making efforts to establish population there, but I think at some point it could become chasing 50. So we'll see.
Man, you would think of all states, the last frontier state would certainly be on the top of the list to have a turkey, but I guess maybe it's the cold or something, because you've gotten one in Hawaii. So you went to Hawaii and got that one as well. So weren't you the youngest to do that, or you're trying to be the youngest to accomplish that?
I think I ended up being the second youngest. I know there's one other guy who got it. He was, I think, 24 when he finished his. And I ended up being 26 when I finished mine. That was never the original goal. It was just one of those things that kind of started unfolding as we started traveling. I just didn't know much about the slam at all at first, but once we started going into it and getting kind of close, and like anything in life, there's a point where you kind of get over that halfway mark where things kind of start going downhill for you, and dreams start becoming reality. Once that happened and started hearing, I think the youngest at that time was like 28 years old, and I was 23 with like 7 states to go.
Yeah.
Definitely thought it could happen. And Nevada was kind of the state for me that gave me a hard time. It just had a difficulty getting a tag and everything there. And it took me 3 years to actually get a tag and go and have a successful hunt there. So me and Allie got to go out there last March and complete that. Yeah, it's just been an incredible journey and experience for sure.
And Allie's your wife, so it's very important to have a supportable spouse for something like that too, to be able to hit that many places, right?
Exactly. Now, was Allie a turkey hunter before you met her?
Allie had been turkey hunting one time with her father before she met me.
Okay.
she was part of that 2020 year. We hunted a good bit in Alabama together. I mean, there's a lot to learn when you start turkey hunting. Somebody who's not a hunter at all, has no woodsmanship. I mean, it's a lot to learn, but she's been a trooper. She jumped right in, knew it was a passion of mine. And I think, it's pretty easy and evident to her that if she wanted to keep me around, that she was going to have to at least accept turkey hunting too. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, you guys recently became parents. Is that correct?
We did. July 24th, 2024, Emma Scott Stallworth came in the world. So turkey season's looking a little different this year because of that aspect too. But yeah, so thankful for a healthy little one.
That's incredible. Congratulations there. I'm kind of wondering, if you go ahead and get her started, then you really can get this whole youngest person.
Absolutely. Now that's planning ahead right there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't have a chance with Allie being into it as much as she is now. Emma Scott's not going to have any chance but to come hunting with us. So we're excited for that.
That's incredible.
Well, you have it's a beautiful family and story, and we want to hear more about that. And we got to take a quick commercial break. We've got Dent Stallworth, the Southeastern Land Group, and Super Slam recipient. That was what it's called, recipient, right? So conqueror or something. We'll go with that. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Southeastern Land Show.
What does the farm mean to you? Well, maybe it's a piece of land for production for crops or cattle. Or maybe the farm is just a place you can go to relax or enjoy the outdoors. Whatever the farm means to you, First South Farm Credit can help you finance or refinance that perfect piece of land. We've been financing farms and land since 1916. With competitive rates and flexible terms up to 30 years, our professionals know land and land financing. First South provides fast, friendly turnaround to help you secure your ideal tract of land. The farm could be your next business venture, your next land or timber investment, or perhaps your new getaway. At First South Farm Credit, we will help you know what the farm means to you and make your farm purchase a reality. Go by and visit branch manager Taylor Hart. We're located at 1613 Frederick Road in Opelika, near Tigertown. For more information, go to firstsouthland.com. That's firstsouthland.com. Equal housing lender.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Southeastern Land Show. We've got Dent Stallworth in studio with us. And Dent, you were telling us about all the states and some of the ones that are easier and some of them might be a little bit harder and challenging, and private land ownership, public lands. Tell us about just the logistics. Obviously in the Northeast or the East Coast, you got a lot smaller states, so you can hit a lot more, a lot easier and a lot quicker. But what does that pace look like? And what are some of the biggest, when you would go out, say when you went out west, how many states would you hit at one time or be able to hit? As far as you mentioned, Nevada was the last one that you got. So tell us what that process looks like in applying for different state laws, different tags in different areas.
So fortunately for turkey hunting right now, and it's kind of shifting and changing every day, every year, turkey tags in most states you're still able to get them over the counter. So you're not looking like elk tags and stuff out west where you're having this years of buying preference points and putting in for quotas. Most states currently, there's a few states that are quota only, but most of them you're able to go to the state, basically season's in, you can buy a tag over the counter. Some of them you have to go in person and get a hard physical tag. Most of them you can do it all through your phone now. Have different, each state will have its own app, different things you can do. For us, the traveling's a little bit different for most people. We bought a camper in 2021 and hit the road. Like I said, the first spring 2020, slept in the truck. I did 47 nights in my truck that spring. So
oh my goodness,
that's something anybody can do, and it's got its pros and its cons.
That's dedication.
You save some time by not having to drive back and forth into town to get hotels or this or that. But I have learned, for me, having the camper, having a good home base and being able to get a good night's sleep changed the game completely. Because that spring, I just remember, never being so tired in my life. And you don't realize, but your decision-making skills and everything aren't quite as good when you're running off a lack of sleep. So we got our camper in 2021, started traveling. So for us, it was picking a spot on a map, showing up, hunting hard. There was a few times that we had to basically fold them and head to a different location. Couldn't find any birds in that area, but most of the states we went to, we were able to find turkeys. Pretty quickly, find signs, start hunting. And for us, it was just, we were there hunting until we got one. Then we were packing up and moving to the next one. So out west, you're looking at 8 to 10 hour drives in between some states. Yeah. When you get on the eastern side of the country, those drives are a lot shorter and easier. So that helps out a ton. Yeah. That's kind of how we've done things and how the flow looked like.
And I can imagine with something like that, the amount of logistic preparation it takes, that you hear about the people who hike the Appalachian Trail and they just don't go and, get $500 worth of gear and start hiking. They mail their food to them, and there's a lot of different checkpoints hitchhiking to town. And I guess for different areas or zones that you want to be in and getting there and the length of time it takes to get there. Talk about as far as were a lot of these private landowners, was it a lot of it public? And I guess as you got through the closer towards the end of the process, more and more people heard about your story. Speak to that and where you had people that were wanting you to hunt their place to get to be a part of that conversation.
So yeah, that's huge part of my slam, super special. Just so many great people across the United States. But yeah, 2021, our plan, me and Allie, like I said, when we hit the road, we mapped out 10 states to hunt. And so I did all the research beforehand, had general areas where I wanted to go in all 10 of those states. We bought licenses beforehand and kind of mapped it out. And honestly speaking, we thought we were crazy. I remember me and Allie looking at her, and she's like, "Don't you think we need to scale it back? Maybe shoot for 3 or 4?" Neither one of us had ever owned a camper, never stayed in a camper, I'd never even pulled on with a vehicle. And we were heading to California. So, the whole thing just seemed insane. Everybody was questioning our sanity. And, they were like, either y'all are going to, come back from this trip halfway through and never talk to each other again, or you're getting married to be together for life. And so we made it through that spring and still together now. So that's, a miracle in itself, just for all the travel and the stress. Going places you've never been, this and that and the other. We would pick a spot on the map. Kind of generally how I would do it is I study harvest reports pretty heavily and try to find hot spots in states where it seems to be a lot of times different counties will have their harvest report. So you can see how many birds were killed in each county. Yeah. And I'll try to locate hot spots in the states, and you try to factor in, is there bigger cities nearby or something that may be the reason there's more turkeys getting killed in those areas, because you have higher population. So try to stay away from bigger cities if I can. And I'll find a piece of public ground in those areas, go to that and start hunting there. But a lot of times, for me, it's getting in the truck, riding around, locating birds and knocking on doors. And like I mentioned earlier, just so many great people across the country, and turkeys in the Southeast are pretty sacred. There's not too many people that'll let you get out on their property and hunt a turkey. But when you get in different parts of the country, like out west and in some of the northeastern states, in some areas, turkeys are actually kind of considered a nuisance to those people. So they want you out there. When you
they're glad to see you coming.
They're like, man, yeah, kill as many as you want. The only rule is that you shoot everyone you can. So.
Well, I can imagine, Dent, it sounds like you've developed quite a massive amount or number of skills over the last few years. It sounds like travel agent, marriage counselor, salesman, knocking on doors. Can I hunt your land? It sounds
Absolutely.
Like, Dent, you might have be fostering quite a set of different skills and possible
for
business
life
ventures for going forward. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Dent, I want to know, as we talked a little bit about, I'll be taking my son out here at the end of this month in April. What kind of things do I need to be thinking about with him? And what are some basic fundamental things that, if you were introducing someone into turkey hunting, what are some things we need to be thinking about? What type of gun to use? What type of camo? All those kinds of things. What is some first fundamental advice you would give me?
Yeah, so this is one of those subjects I could talk on for days. I'll try to keep it short and kind of give you a few glimpses into what you might need. But honestly, one great thing, and I've heard this from so many other turkey hunters, finding a mentor, finding somebody to take you in the woods a time or two and and teach you the ropes is huge. I mean, having that for me, it was my dad and my grandfather. I had both of them taking me when I was younger. I mean, they weren't traveling hunters. I kind of learned that side of things on my own, but getting started hunting, we'll start with guns. Growing up, we always shot a 12 gauge. You thought the bigger the bullet, the only reason we shot a 12 is we didn't have a 10 gauge. You thought the bigger the bullet, bigger the gun, bigger the shell, everything, the better. And nowadays, with the kind of modern, I guess you'd call it technology and changes in ammunition and guns, I shoot a 20 gauge personally, and it is more than enough for what you need turkey hunting. A lot of people are switching to 410s, 28 gauges. One thing I would recommend doing is definitely shoot your gun beforehand, put out some targets and shoot and make sure there's different shells, different chokes, different things you can use. But that is something I never did growing up, and it actually cost me a lot of turkeys. Called them in, whether I body shot them or just they were 30, 40 yards and the gun I was shooting didn't have a good enough pattern to take one down at that distance. So I made that mistake at a young age. That's one thing I would definitely recommend doing. And as far as camo for me, North Mountain Gear makes a leafy suit. It's kind of been a game changer for me. When I go to knock on doors or something, I typically don't ever wear camo up to somebody's house. So I'm wearing about what I'm in right now, khakis and a black jacket or something. And whenever they give you permission, those leafy suits, you just slide them on right over your khakis and your jacket and take off hunting. So those have been a game changer. And with the leafy, you kind of have a little natural movement. I feel like that's really helped me being able to get close to turkeys. Generally when you're setting up on a turkey, you want him to be in gun range when you see him at first. So you want to kind of have something in between you and the turkey. You want him coming over a ridge trying to come find you. And when he comes over that ridge, like I said, you want him in gun range. But I've noticed, especially with hens, when they get close to you, that leafy suits really help. Another thing you could be doing is just getting out in the mornings and trying to locate turkeys, finding high spots on your properties and listening, turkeys will move. They're not guaranteed to roost in the same spots or even the same areas in some instances. They're out there in the woods. Everything in the world is a predator for turkeys. They have things after them all the time. So you never know how their day is going to go. If a bobcat or an eagle or something's going to chase them 2 properties down. So a lot of times you hear one spot, show up next morning, expect him to be there, and he's gone, and you never really know why. That's something, just kind of getting an idea, taking inventory of where the turkeys are on your property. That's something that'll definitely help you out when season comes around.
Okay. And what about, let's say I've got some land here in Georgia or Alabama. What kind of things do I need to be thinking about, today? We're at the beginning of March. What do I need to be doing to my land to prepare it so that turkeys are attracted to it?
Yeah, so this is a great time. I know for me personally, riding around the truck the last couple of days, you're right. You just see smoke clouds going up in the air everywhere. I think a lot of land managers, it's a great time of year to burn kind of that early season growth. You have a burn that'll do a good kill on your place and really clean it out. I don't know all the science behind it, but turkeys, it promotes native species growing, and turkeys absolutely love it. I know we were talking before kind of and telling stories. So many cases you'll have a burn that goes through and there'll still be smoke coming off the ground. You'll have turkeys already out there scratching. So you don't want to burn your entire property. Diversity is huge with management. You want some areas left unburned, kind of some thicker places. But if you could burn a couple spots on your place, it really helps. And then another thing is trapping. I know personally for me back home, my dad, he's had some fires go bad on him. So with saying that, make sure you're getting professional help when you're doing any burning. Advice, but anybody can go out and get a few dog-proof traps and trap some coons and possums. That's the one thing we did on our property back home, and we saw results instantly.
Eliminate those predators.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the guy, I was telling you about the Rockdale track, the guy that we were out, he was showing us his land out there. He was saying that, at this very moment, they are out there planting clove in all the green fields.
Yeah.
And they're also putting out birdseed. And I thought, oh, wow, that makes sense. You're putting out birdseed for turkeys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, Dent. Hey, we've enjoyed having you on the show. One of the questions that we ask every one of our guests here on the Southeastern Land Show is, what is your favorite place in the Southeast to visit? We are a Southeast-centric show, and, I think our listeners want to know, what are some places we've never heard of, and so that's the reason for the question. So, Dent, what is your favorite place in the Southeast to visit, vacation, what have you?
Man, that is a very tough question. I mean, traveled all over Southeast. The obvious answer for me would be anywhere in the Turkey Woods. It's a great place.
Of course, right?
But I'd say one place that's special to me is going to be the Gulf Coast. I grew up going down there. My grandfather had a place down there, and I actually spent my summers working the beaches kind of in the Sandestin, all the way Seagrove area down through there. So those beaches, I mean, they're a special place for vacation. You're looking somewhere to take your family. I mean, I haven't found anywhere else in the U.S. that's as beautiful beaches like those are.
Yeah, we do have some of the best beaches in the world, and my kids love them too.
We do, and especially being here, Alabama, Georgia, we've got the mountains, beautiful mountains, and the beach, and everything in between. So we're very blessed and fortunate to have that kind of diversification within one state.
Yeah, and it also helps that you've got those go-kart tracks down there too.
Man, my wife gives me a hard time about that, but man, they're so much fun. She's like, you're just like a big kid. But man, when the kids get old enough, and when your daughter gets old enough, boy, they're a lot of fun. Yeah. So
that's right. If you ain't first, you're last.
Exactly. If it's not rubbing, it's racing, right?
Yeah, I did get to go to Hiawassee, Georgia last year for the first time and kind of experience those mountains, and it is special. And that's as I spend more and more time there, I'm sure I'll fall more and more in love. But like I said, those beaches have been special for me. A lot of good memories down there. Yeah.
Well, Dent, we thank you for being in studio with us today, and a lot of great information, great content. And if people are looking for guidance or buying or selling a land, or or forestry for timber management for these turkeys, or if they want some tips and insights on how they can kill a gobbler, how can someone get in touch with you?
Best way to reach me be on my cell phone. My number's 251-593-3220, or you can send me an email, dent@selandgroup.com.
That's right. Or they can find Dent's information, like you said, on our website, selandgroup.com. Stay tuned. After this quick commercial break, we'll have Taylor Hart with First South Farm Credit in studio with us. You're listening to the Southeastern Land Show.
Hey, this is Kelso Hamilton with Alabama Ag Credit, and we're proud to be part of the Southeastern Land Show. If you're looking to buy land and hearing this radio station, I'm the guy you need to talk to. Buying land isn't the same as buying a home, and we understand the ins and outs of making your dream a reality. We specialize in financing recreational property, timberland, and farms. So when you hear about the perfect property on the Southeastern Land Show, give me a call at 334-301-8122 and get you on the land you've been dreaming about.
Welcome back to the Southeastern Land Show. One of our tremendous sponsors of the show is First South Farm Credit, and we're grateful to have local branch manager Taylor Hart in studio with us to discuss everything that is going on in land lending. Taylor, how are you, my friend? Got a little tongue-tied there. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, Brian. How are you?
Carrie, one of the many things I love about working with Taylor is, well, first of all, he always answers his phone 99.9% of the time. But when he doesn't answer his phone, he has got a fantastic voice message for you. For instance, I called him one time looking to get in touch with him, went to his voicemail. He said, "Hey, this is Taylor. Man, it's a beautiful day to go fishing. I'm here working on these loans, but I'm not out there enjoying it. Leave me a message." It's something colorful like that. And how many lenders got a personality like that, right?
I love that. You either get them on the phone and you solve the problems, or you get an incredible voicemail.
That's right. I think you had one for March Madness, which is timely for this.
And I gotta get that going.
But no, we appreciate sponsorship. First South Farm Credit appreciate you and Mr. Dowdell there at the office there in Opelika, across from the Botanic, next to Lowe's there in Tigertown, and Taylor, we've done a lot of transactions over the years and together, and you've helped a lot of people finance, a lot of dreams of land ownership. And I love First South Farm Credit's slogan is, "What does a farm mean to you?" And, obviously it means a lot of things to a lot of different people, but it's very thought provoking. Different people have different perspectives of what that utilization and usage is. And, tell us how, sometimes when people think lender, they think that all lenders are the same. And they're not. You have some that focus more on, maybe the commercial businesses or more of the in-town type houses and those that focus more on land-centric property or farm properties, homes with land. And, so how does someone like yourself and being a co-op, what does that mean? Provide a different opportunity than someone that may be more of a traditional bank setting?
Well, we're owned by our borrower members. So we are a co-op in the true sense of the word. But what that means to them is we share our profits back with our owner borrowers. So once a year, we have what we call a patronage refund. Some people call it a dividend check. But anyway, it's a check.
Yeah.
A real paper check. When you go to your mailbox, there's a check in there from First South Farm Credit. Last year, it was almost 18.5% of the interest portion of your annual payment. So it was a little over a payment and a half.
Yeah.
I borrowed some money in my life and nobody's ever sent me a check.
Right.
But, one way to think about it is if you got a 20-year loan, 30-year loan, we're going to pay for over 2 years of that loan with our PAT refund paying you back.
Yeah.
So it helps in that way. And also rural rates are a little bit higher than commercial rates just because of the inherent risk of property in Timbuktu nowhere.
Yeah.
Because of that risk, our rates are a little bit higher. But when we factor in the patronage refund, it brings us back down to a level playing field with some of the commercial lenders or in-town mortgage guys.
And that's when people ask as far as different lenders, obviously, and we say this, everybody's situation is different, and we always employ people to talk to their banks, credit unions, but also get in front of you and have a conversation with you, because to be sure you're comparing apples and apples. Because if one institution quotes a price and, to your point, yours might be a little bit higher, but taking into consideration that patronage refund check, you want to be sure that you're getting all the information needed. And especially with tracts and people looking to live out on the land or homes with land or, farms, whether it's row crop farms or timberland as a crop. People,
Yes.
we always forget about timberland, so that sometimes banks that deal more in towns may not be as well versed and it's not their wheelhouse.
Well, and this is all we've done.
Yeah.
That's all we know is we're a rural lender. We're with Farm Credit. Whether it's buying land, whether it's cattle loan, row crop loan, land improvements.
Yeah.
People want to put a pond on their property or put fencing up or cut roads in.
Yeah.
Because of our relationship and as we get to know our borrowers, we can try to come up with ways that would help them enhance their property. What does the farm mean to you? I mean, we've got one guy who's farming on 5 acres. He's a hydroponic guy.
Yeah.
He does very, very, very well. I had somebody come in, a person that we made a loan to 5 years ago for the land. We made them a construction loan.
Yeah.
Built their house, turned it out. Then her sister gets in the mortgage business. So she calls me one day and says, I hate to do it, but my sister is knocking on my door. And I said, I understand. If you got, you go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's blood's thicker than water.
That's right.
Always. So she went with her sister. About 2 years go by and she called me. She said, you're going to get a kick out of this, but I want to come back. And I said, no, I don't think you do, because I know where your rates are and where our rates are today. And I don't really think that's a good idea. She said, but Taylor, we got 23 acres. My mortgage has been sold 2 or 3 times. I can't even get a hold of this national mortgage company that holds my loan. I want to sell the back part of my property. They will not allow me to do that. Yeah. So she came back on board. We're getting it all straight. We're going to allow her to sell the back part of her property, their property.
Yeah.
But it's those kind of things when you're dealing on a personal level, personal basis. I mean, we feel like family with our borrowers.
Yeah.
Sometimes the grass is not always greener.
That's right.
Somewhere else. It appears to be. They sell it, but when the rubber meets the road, sometimes a local guy that and knows you and knows your situation can be very helpful.
Right. And there's value in that and going and knowing the same person each and every month when you're making your payments, and there's that familiarity, and that you get to where you know their family, and it's not being sold off, and there's a new company and a different person you talk to every time you have a question about your mortgage and lending. And and I think just in general, and Carrie and I, we've talked about this before, as we're getting ready to go to the Realtors Land Institute conference and different conferences we go to, we all could be better and do better within our industry. The real estate industry, you have different types of realtors that sell different types of property. And those of us who focus more on the land centric, type properties, know certain things, just like people who deal in commercials know certain things and certain lending and that kind of thing. And there's a lot of education I know I've found, with more of an in-town realtor may have a buyer and they're looking to do some sort of financing. And I'm like, have a conversation with these guys, talk to whoever you want to, but just especially if there's a land part of it too, because there's a lot of people that still, don't understand and don't realize that. And what kind of value that can bring to, to people. Cause sometimes when people think a land, centric, a land lender, it's just the land. And to your point, you do construction loans. You don't have to survey out the house and do a house mortgage and then do a land mortgage. Right. And I think we have a lot of education just within the industry for people to educate them on that.
That's true. And also we don't sell our loans. So we have the ability, if you believe everything you read and hear that rates are coming down, we can ride those rates down for our members without having to do a total refinance package. It's an in-house deal. We DocuSign it.
Yeah.
I call them and say, hey, here's where rates are today. Is it worth it?
Yeah.
Right.
And if they say go, then it's about a 2-day process. We get it going and we can ride rates down as they drop. Now they're fixed. They won't go up.
Yeah.
But if rates start down, then we'll chase them down.
That's an incredible value add. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah. And with so many people too, you hear the phrase, because so many people are looking for land and looking to custom build a home on a piece of property or, and it's marry the property, date the rate.
Right.
And if you find something, because it's one thing to look for a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house in a certain area, you can find several of them in different styles. But sometimes it might just be that one property that's got everything on it. But maybe the rates aren't just where you want them to be just yet, but you want to lock it in because you can always go back and get a better rate down the road as things tick down. So that value, that's huge because that perfect property is not going to come around all the time.
Right. A good land agent and a good land lender like Taylor can help you determine, when you put together the cost and benefit analysis of whether you should go with that land now or, keep searching for another property and possibly a lower rate. Those are all things good land agents and lenders can help you with.
Absolutely. And Taylor, you have a wide variety of experiences because you've been in all aspects of this industry, whether it's building or selling or lending. So you understand and you have a lot of wisdom and be able to provide great customer service and just great clarity to people who have reached out just to get some information from all aspects of it. So you're not looking at it just from the angle of, just how we can help you with your lending needs. You can kind of help people paint the picture on what they're looking to do and kind of help them from that standpoint, walk them through that.
Yeah. Yeah. I like to get people in the office and say, tell me your vision. Tell me what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Where do you want this to go?
Yeah.
I mean, do you want this to be a hobby farm? Are you going to grow crops? Are you just wanting to have a place to go out and play on the weekends?
Yeah.
Are you looking for a place for recreation? What are you looking for and how can we help design or tailor the loan to fit your needs and work together as a team? I still like to make a deal. I'm a deal maker. And I'd like to figure out how to make it work for our borrower members and how to make it work to their advantage.
That's right.
If you got somebody happy down the road, that's worth a lot. And you can't buy that.
Yeah. And they tell their friends.
That's right.
And, and two, from someone, when we had bought our place out in Camp Hill and we had to kind of live in tight quarters for about 11 months and my family of 4 and our golden doodle, Charlie. And, it's to go through the process of renovating a house and building something for my mom to live in as well. Having that experience is very unique. Well, it's not unique to Taylor because you just went through that too. So,
real close quarters
for all of our listeners who may be going through that, just trying to get a house redone or a house built and you're waiting for the last door, the last window or the last fixture to come in. You can speak to that because you had your dose of that this past year too. So you understand all the dynamics, including the marriage dynamics, right? So, that kind of thing of, just the different complexities of that process. And I think there's value in that too, because we're all, you want as much information as possible, because buying land is one of the most expensive things someone may do in their life. And whether it's, a farm or if it's a home with land.
It's a very rewarding thing too. I can't tell you the number of people that we've financed land for, and they would say, I've hunted all over the place, but hunting on my piece of land is just a different feeling.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just something different about owning the place that you're playing on.
Absolutely. It's not hunting lease. It's your own. You can set it up ever how you want to and create your own ecosystem for different hunting or whatever you want to do and recreate. So Taylor, one thing we like to ask all of our guests that come on, obviously we're a Southeastern show, and we always ask everybody, where is your favorite place that you love to visit in the Southeast, or your favorite place to go or vacation? One spot in particular, is there anything that stands out to you?
I mean, I'm pretty happy doing what I do, whether it's at the beach or whether it's in the mountains or, but I'm from Eufaula, and I've always called that God's country.
That's right.
And it is. It's, to me, that's God's country, because that's where I spent my growing up years, and that's where I made memories. Not that I haven't made memories as an adult, but as a child, fishing, hunting, playing. There's just no place like home.
That's right.
And so I would say Barber County, Alabama for me.
Well said. I hear there's a few fish in Eufaula too, I've heard, right?
There are.
Eufaula, that's the place that has the gas station with the gators, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's the name of that spot?
Gator Stop.
Gator Stop. We stop there every time we pass by there and feed those gators some marshmallows.
You and a lot of other people do that too.
My kids love it, but it's the worst thing for me because I'm not a gator fan, and being that close to those reptiles is not my favorite thing.
They'll come right up to you.
Ooh, no.
Oh, well, Taylor, we thank you so much for being in studio with us today. And we certainly appreciate First South Farm Credit and sponsoring the show and always being with us and working with all of us in the land business and, helping people achieve their dream and seeing what the farm means to them. So we thank you for having us in.
Thank you for having me.
All right. If somebody's wanting to get in touch with you, how can they reach you?
Well, they can go firstsouthland.com, obviously on the internet, or our office here is 334-826-LAND or 5263, but it's easier to go 826-LAND.
All right.
826 Land.
826 Land. That's fantastic. That's Taylor Hart with First South Farm Credit, office there in Opelika and Tigertown across from Botanic and Lowe's. Thank you, Taylor.
Thank you, guys.
Carrie, it's another great show today, my friend.
Another fantastic show. This has been incredible having Dent and Taylor on the show talking turkey and land lending. I'm actually thinking about maybe I'll just stop by Taylor's office here in a second and fill out an application, see if I can find me a turkey track here in Alabama.
That's right.
That works.
And get some food across the street.
That's right.
I got some really good stuff. All right, guys. Well, that'll do it for us this week. We appreciate you tuning in. As we always say, land is not always a financial investment, but it's an investment in time with your family and friends. If you're looking to sell or buy land across the Southeast, or dreamed of living on a farm, or looking to live the land living lifestyle, our team at Southeastern Land Group would be glad to serve you and your family. For more information, please visit our website at selandgroup.com or give us a call at 866-751-LAND. And Amanda, Susan, Jordan would be glad to put you in contact with a land agent in your area. For Carrie Farrington, I'm Brian Watts. Be sure to tune in next week for another great episode of the Southeastern Land Show.
What does the farm mean to you? Well, maybe it's a piece of land for production for crops or cattle. Or maybe the farm is just a place you can go to relax or enjoy the outdoors. Whatever the farm means to you, First South Farm Credit can help you finance or refinance that perfect piece of land. We've been financing farms and land since 1916. With competitive rates and flexible terms up to 30 years, our professionals know land and land financing. First South provides fast, friendly turnaround to help you secure your ideal tract of land. The farm could be your next business venture, your next land or timber investment, or perhaps your new getaway. At First South Farm Credit, we will help you know what the farm means to you and make your farm purchase a reality. Go by and visit branch manager Taylor Hart. We're located at 1613 Frederick Road in Opelika, near Tigertown. For more information, go to firstsouthland.com. That's firstsouthland.com. Equal housing lender.